here's what happened. I was in the cemetery. There was an automobile just sitting right next to me. I got in the automobile, I drove away. In retrospect, I think I may have stolen that vehicle, but I'm not sure.
Welcome, Fedi Friends, to episode 45 of Fireside Fedi. I'm your host, Ozoned. Fireside Fedi is a show about folks within the Fediverse. If you're seeing this, you are a part of the Fediverse. With me today, which I have to say, I'm massively excited and nervous to how this is going to go, is Weatherman, Chief Meteorologist from Weather is Happening. I'm not going to talk too much about Weatherman because this is by far the most unique being I've ever talked to in the show. And I'll let Weatherman introduce himself. So Weatherman, thank you so much for joining me. And how would you like to be addressed first off?
Sure, so you could just call me Weatherman. Like you said, I'm Chief Meteorologist for Weather is Happening, Boston's #1 source for no-nonsense weather, no games. But did you know it's also the only weather service on your planet, as far as I'm aware, that puts an emphasis on the need for repentance to other lords? Your weather lords are drunken carbon. You're in your death spiral. You need to stop your powers and oligarchs from disrupting you and your planet.
I agree wholly with that. I think, yeah, go ahead. No, I absolutely want to get into that. Before we get into that, though, I would love to know how you got to where you're at today.
Sure. Well, in your descriptions of this, I didn't want to correct you. You said that I bubbled up from Earth. I bubbled up. I'm merely a weather being from the weather realm, and I bubbled up onto the surface of your reality in 2012.
Okay.
As I have done not just on your planet, but on a lot of planets throughout your entire universe, especially within your galactic cluster. I've noticed that there's a lot of death spiralist tendencies within your galactic cluster. I don't know why, but I show up on planets when those planets are at a certain level within their death spiral, which you could think of as climate change, but there's a little more to a death spiral than just climate change. There's the death spiral fascism all wrapped up with the climate change situation. So I bubble up on the planets that are within a certain level of that, and there's a certain amount of anxiety that we could feel within the weather realm. So I bubbled up in 2012. That was when it was triggered that I would show up here. But I've been on many planets throughout your universes, past, present, and future.
Okay, so you're not only an interdimensional being, but time is not linear for you.
No, I mean, it sort of is, but I haven't been myself in the future yet, but I will be in the future when the future occurs.
I mean, the future's happening now, always.
That's true. It depends on how you look at it, I guess.
So, okay, so you're a multidimensional being. What was it? The weather dimension?
The weather realm.
The weather realm.
You could think of it as a dimension as well, for sure.
Okay. But is this what you look like in your weather realm?
No. Definitely not. Within the weather realm, it's difficult to describe. I am the weather realm. Have you ever seen Star Trek Deep Space Nine?
Of course.
Yeah, so you know the Great Link?
Yeah.
Where thought becomes form and form becomes thought.
Okay.
So it's very similar to that. Whereas I am just a drop of the weather realm that's come to your planet in order to let people know that they could repent to their weather lords.
Oh wow! So that's even okay, that's even crazier. I mean, it's normal for you, but to wrap our heads around that is pretty crazy. So you're essentially an energy being you are the weather realm that is kind of stuck a tendril out. I'm assuming you're still fully connected to the weather realm, though, right? You're not cut off from that.
No, I'm cut off from the weather realm for sure.
Oh, okay.
I can way before so here's what I do to forecast your weather. I'll just get right into that.
Yeah.
You can see the portal right behind me, right? This is the portal to the weather realm right behind me, right there. It's not what the weather realm looks like, but it's an approximation of what the weather realm could look like if there were human eyes to feast upon the sight of the weather realm. But I
Okay.
lay before my portal inside of the weather realm, my fever becomes elevated. I get up to 102, 103, sometimes 104-degree fever. And I just lay there convulsing, receiving the special visions from your weather lords that are just allowing me to see their special patterns that allows me to then interpret those patterns, put those into weather forecasts for the Boston area and other
Interesting.
areas sometimes too.
But in an interview that you did, you inhabited a human.
Sure.
Okay. So 2012, is there something specific about this human that you picked, or was it just that right person at the right place at the right time?
It was the person at the right place at the right time. I don't
Okay.
know exactly how I ended up in this form precisely. All I know is I emerged from the weather. Excuse me. I emerged from the weather realm, naked and covered in fluids, in a cemetery in Boston, Mount Hope Cemetery in Boston, to be specific.
Okay. Do you know what kind of fluids? Is that normal? Does that normally happen when you go out to other?
Yeah, that's normal. It's always kind of a disgusting entry for sure. I mean, it depends on but it's always disgusting per the planet that I'm on, because nasty fluids aren't necessarily disgusting on one planet when they're disgusting on your planet.
That's true. That I mean that is an excellent point. In our planet, that sounds really gross. Gross. In other planets, that's a mating dance for all I know.
Sure, sure. So
Yeah.
some planets might emerge dry, some planets might emerge with covered in sprinkles or something. I don't know. My memories of other planets are quite vague and strange I don't have a crisp memory of everything from other planets, but I could tell you vaguely what it feels like for sure.
So this is a corporeal form representation, so you can match us. It is not a like a virus where you inhabited a Bostonian.
No, I just it's sort of like, again, not to reference Star Trek too much, but I've watched all your Star Trek. I think it's quite a little beautiful series right there. If you could just imagine an energy being going in through the hull of the ship into someone's brain and then sort of inhabiting that
Yeah.
body, it's sort of like that.
Okay.
Sort of, not really, but sort of.
So if it do you think that there's something that draws you to Star Trek? Is it just because it's familiar to you? Because maybe we have an opportunity to bring the world together and then go out into the universe and unite the universe? I'm leading the question because I love Star Trek because of this. I want to see this.
That's one reason I'm drawn to it. Now, I don't want to suggest that your Star Trek isn't flawed in a lot of ways, especially if you watch the old series and the original series. Some of those episodes seem very misogynistic to me and very strange compared to today's standards.
That's
But
fair.
on the other hand, it does present Star Trek in general. I'm more of a TNG, DS9, Voyager person.
Okay.
Those series, what they do is they present a future that is repentful, a future where your planet has managed to figure out how to repent to the Weather Lords and stop their powers oligarchs from destructing them and their planet.
Okay.
That's very nice, because a lot of your other media doesn't display that sort of stuff. It just displays very negative depictions of your future. And I think you want to hang on to whatever hope you could, especially in the year 2025.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. I'm the type of person, I grew up on Star Trek when I was, I don't know, early teens, I think is when TNG came out, and I watched it religiously with my family. And I just always loved it because it is hopeful. Right. And I know a lot of people are like TNG doesn't stand up, but it's less of the action fighting and more of the intellectual and moral quandaries, which sometimes they don't have a right answer. And I think that is very true to real life.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And I'll just say for the record, I have two cats within the Witherware, and these cats are named Jadzia and Wayun. I just thought I'd drop that because you were talking about your little dog situation earlier. I got two cats. Always gotta have cats around. Now, of course, the weather cat before these cats unfortunately passed away in the year 2023. But that was one,
Oh, I'm
to
sorry.
be fair, that was one old-ass cat. That cat lived to be 20 years old.
How do cats get drawn to you then because of your multi-dimensional, multi-realm existence, or?
It's completely the other way around. I've
Oh,
been drawn to cats by using your internet all the time and wanting cats for myself.
that is really the best use of the internet is cats. Yeah.
Oh yeah, cats are just wonderful. I don't know. Now, Jadzia likes to puke a little bit more often than I would prefer. I don't enjoy puking. And Floyd
Yeah.
Powers, senior weather analyst, is off in Buffalo, New York for the next 8 weeks. So I've been having to clean up all this puke myself.
Yeah, we have a cat as well, and yeah, she's.
And I may be a weather being, but I'm inhabiting this human corporeal form, and I still have a gag reflex, so I'm trying to clean up this vomit. But
It takes.
I learned that you could clean up vomit with paper towels instead of just your hands, and that has helped dramatically.
I imagine it takes some time to get used to going from being an entire realm to being in a corporeal form. And I know you don't really remember the rest of the instances you have because it's still a part of the weather realm. You were given what you need to succeed here. How odd is it, or how much work do you have to do trying to figure out your bodily functions or taking care of this vessel?
It was a mess to begin with. So when I first started, when I emerged onto your planet, here's what happened. I was in the cemetery. There was an automobile just sitting right next to me. I got in the automobile. I drove away. In retrospect, I think I may have stolen that vehicle, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
The keys were in it, so
Yeah.
maybe it was left for me somehow by some sort of repentful force that knew I was going to arrive. I don't know. But I took that car, I drove around. Oh, and that car also had a laptop and a cell phone in it, which is how I got on the internet to begin with. And and that laptop had Linux running on it, and that was real nice. That got me on a nice journey as well. Not to get too deep into the nerdy aspects of being a weather being.
I'm very nerdy.
That's just where it's at. Not that I'm like a Linux professionado or some other word that I could make up. But I just use a straight Ubuntu GNOME. That's fine. Anyway, sorry, that's a digression. Point is, then I had to find a place to exist, and I had to find some clothing as well. So I was just driving around these neighborhoods that were bordering the cemetery. And I found this one house that had these clothes on a string in the backyard. I put those clothes on. Then I found another house. And this house, the basement door was unlocked. So I went inside and I squatted in this couple's house for a month, undetected.
Wow, that's impressive. Do you have like other special powers other than the information that we are heading into a death spiral?
Well, you could call the feverish visions that I received from your weather lords. That's some sort of a special power as well.
Right. Yep.
Other special powers, I don't know. I love eating ice cream. I don't know. I love minivans from the late '80s. That's something that I'm into.
What is the perfect picture to be drawn on the side of or painted on the side of a minivan? Because obviously you have to paint an amazing picture.
Some beautiful clouds for sure.
Okay. What about like would you prefer like a Viking or more unicorn?
That's a great question. Viking or unicorn. It pains me to have to choose between the two.
Could be a Viking riding a unicorn?
Or it could be a unicorn that sort of has a Viking's beard.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That would be pretty cool as well, for sure.
Yeah. Someone in the chat earlier asked, what are you drinking? Which is an excellent question. I mean, I would assume our stuff, but...
This is just coffee. I love your coffee so much. Maybe that's even a problem. I don't know. But I drink. I'll just tell you my entire coffee situation. I have a Mr. Coffee machine. I have a stack of Cafe Bustelo bricks. And that's what this is. Cafe Bustelo and a Mr. Coffee machine poured into this enormous mug.
Yeah. I was like, I think mine's big, but no, I'm pretty sure yours is bigger. And it is about the size that counts, right? That's what matters the most.
Sure. And
Yeah.
last night I had a few weather associates over the weatherware to discuss some secret weather.biz. And so I drank a lot of coffee last night as well. So my time in my regeneration alcove last night wasn't that strong. I had a very choppy regeneration cycle last night.
Yeah,
So I'm drinking more coffee right now to sort of make up for that.
I totally feel you there. Our cat has been very needy right around 2 a.m. I don't know if you have that issue with your cats as well, but yeah, that one's getting woken up constantly. Yeah, it's always fun.
The regeneration alcove has a gate to it, so I'm pretty safe in there for my cats.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, we have little kids, so we unfortunately can't do that because they come in all the time. So 2012, you are what's a good way to say it? Created, dropped off from the weather realm. How do you normally dress?
I was born onto your planet. I bubbled up into the surface of your reality, which is sort of a birth. It was sort of a birth, especially being covered in fluids. It was very birth-like.
Yeah, that's okay. If it's similar to that kind of birth fluids, yeah, that's gross. Okay. I love my kids, but the birthing process is not pretty. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could handle that myself.
So, and then you get a vehicle, you get an internet, you find lodging. Did you just know that you were here from the weather realm in order to help us repent, or did you learn that over time?
Well, I had to learn your language first. That was one of the problems because I showed up. We don't really have a language in the weather realm, so anytime I enter a planet or a planet equivalent,
sure,
I have to learn whatever language they're speaking, and it's usually from scratch. So it's not like I have my own word for cup that I can replace with the English word for cup. So I had to learn how to use my mouth to expel air out of my throat in a way that made sounds. And I also had to do it while I learned first on the internet on the laptop. So I was able to type first. And I'm a pretty fast learner as well, so I learned it pretty quick. But my spelling, if you look at posts from 2012 versus posts from 2025, and everything in between, there's a gradient where I've learned how to spell much more accurately.
I mean, your spelling, the spelling that I see from you, you could run for president.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's. I think it's.
I'm not allowed to run for president. I'm not even from your planet. But
there's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't be, as long as you're born here, which you were.
I guess I was born here, but I'm not. Don't you have to be 36 years old?
Yeah, I was just gonna say 2012. You're only 13.
I'm only 13 years old on your planet. If you're gonna look at it like that, that's kind of a weird way to look at it. But.
Yeah. That'd be rough. Did you go through and get like Social Security card and birth certificate and all that?
Well, I got that later on. I didn't get a birth certificate, but I did get a fake identity from the union. I had a job for a little while underneath. I was working in the berry mines underneath Boston, and what we did in the berry mines is we were picking the good berries from it was my job to pick the good berries from the bad berries to make sure that Boston had a steady supply of high quality berries. And when we were down there, I was part of a union. They gave me an ID, which then I was able to get a bank account.
Oh, nice.
A credit card, all that stuff.
Okay.
But that was years later after arriving, for sure.
Yeah, you're not afraid. So then you're not afraid of ICE coming to get you, being you're saying this publicly.
Well, I'm inside of my weatherware.
Oh, they can't come in there. Okay,
that makes sense. It's a whole process to get up here. Many ladders and staircases that go in all sorts of different directions. You have to know exactly which ladders and staircases to take.
Oh, it's like a maze.
It's kind of like a maze, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
The weatherware now. So the original, going back to the original story that we were talking about, 2012.
Oh yeah,
I was in that basement for a month, and I decided that this domicile that I was within was perfect as a weatherware. So I made a supernatural copy of it and put that copy into the cemetery from which I was born. And then that was just a great place for a weather layer. No, I lived there for many years, but then the weather layer sort of started to submerge into a different layer of subspace. It was a whole kind of situation. Oh, excuse me. It was a whole kind of situation. Then I moved to a weather tower for a little bit. That didn't last too long either.
Oh.
Then I tasted the water at Hockomock Swamp, which is a swamp within the Bridgewater Triangle in the Massachusetts area.
Oh, okay.
In the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I should say. So I tasted the water at Hockomock Swamp. I ran through the forest, met many of the different versions of me, and we all went frolicking through the forest. And I woke up on Assonet Ledge in the Freetown State Forest down there. I was rushed to Providence Hospital, and from there I ended up getting a weather lay in Providence for a few years. So I was in Providence, Rhode Island for a little bit as well.
Because you were just so grateful to the people there for helping you?
No, it's more that I discovered that the weather layer was already in Providence, and then there was a liminal tube of transference that transferred everything from the weather layer tower in Boston to the new weather layer in Providence, which is a very basementy weather layer as far as weather layers go.
Okay. So then when does because your website is weatherishappening.com, which is a great name for a weather site. When does that come about? How did you get started there?
So that was after I converted that house that I was squatting in into a supernatural copy of it into the Mount Hope Cemetery in 2012. I started a new website, or WebZone as I called it back in those days. I kind of switched between WebZone and website now. As I said, I'm better at English at this point, but so yeah, I created this website. The website that you see today is not the original website, though. The original website was, how do you pronounce it? Drupal?
Drupal. Drupal?
Yeah,
Drupal?
It was a Drupal website that a weather associate helped me create. I got that up and running and I was able to provide it. And then I was on Twitter and FB back in the nice Twitter and FB days, if they ever were nice.
Yeah.
2012 was a time that they were nice. If that counts as nice, I don't know if it really counts as nice.
I mean, yeah, it depends on
comparatively nice.
It depends on your opinion, yeah. Because like I was trying to think. So I went back to college, and Facebook was starting to take off. That was back in the days when you had to have a college account in order to get on, because that's originally what it was for. It was for connecting with people inside of your college, not just everyone. And I just, one, never saw the point, and two, big question is, how do they pay for it? Oh, they pay for it by ads. Oh, okay, it's the Google model. And it's like, yeah, I'm not.
Unfortunately, I'm a little less about this, but at the time, my thought was that's where all the people seem to be. And I had to go where the people were. And I had a nice account on FB. It started off slow, but then there was a winter in Boston, 2015, winter of 2015 in Boston. Snowpack-a-lops. Ridiculous. Boston got 10 feet of snow in 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh my God.
Too much snow. And all those snow blobs, me delivering the weather forecasts for those snow blobs, created a flurry of interest. So I went from about 400 followers on FB all the way up to about 2,000 within a couple of months. I was quoted on NPR's website. They posted some of my forecasts, which sort of continued the cycle of more and more followers. And that's sort of how I started to grow up a little bit right there. Also on Twitter, I wasn't really that active on Twitter at the time, but my follower count started going up as well there.
So why do you think that your follower counts were going up? We have tons of meteorologists, right?
Yeah, but I don't think most meteorologists are fulfilling what people need, which is no nonsense. Number one, no nonsense, no games. No nonsense meteorology is something that people have been craving for on your planet for as long as I've been here, for sure. And so I was able to provide no nonsense. And part of my forecast as well, I had a radio program, or I was part of a radio program at MIT's college radio station called Brainworms. so I was on the radio giving the weather forecast as well on a weekly basis, and people really responded to my styling of weather forecasts because they had never seen anything quite like it, and they seemed to really like it, and they liked my message of repentance to weather lords as well, though it was barely even fleshed out at that point.
Well, and it's one of those things. It's fairly interesting in that, you know, I remember late night news and people just stay up, see what the weather is. And then there was a weather channel, and then they're trying to make it, you know, edgier and make it more interesting. So now we have documentaries on every single tornado and every single hurricane out there. But yeah, it's fluff to keep you interested in you watching, just like any other channel. And then you have, I think there was one where it was like a nude weather girl or something in South America somewhere, if I remember correctly. But you've gone a completely different way, which is, you know, I mean, you're obviously here to get this message out, but you pull in all of your reality, right? Because we're seeing your part. What if we could see your reality to us? At least that's a representation.
Sure, for sure.
We went a completely different way, fully clothed. Well, yeah, we did go fully clothed.
These clothes are actually fused to my body. I can take off the lab coat. I can take off the tie, with the shirt, the pants, my boots, my sunglasses.
It is you.
Fused into my body for sure, which makes for some very uncomfortable situations, but that's just the way that it is.
So we're actually, outside of the tie and the coat, we're seeing you naked.
No. It's not. This isn't part of my skin. It's just clothing that has been fused to my body.
Oh, okay. I got you now. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to think where to go with this. So you, yeah, I actually hadn't even heard about you. You're very, at least for human beings, you're a very unique individual. And I appreciate uniqueness. So thank you for joining us on the Fediverse with that.
Of course.
Have you, in general, it sounds like you've been very welcomed.
Sure, I'm pretty, well, not as popular as I would like to be in Boston. I would like to be providing the weather for every single person in Boston, but that's just not the case. But I would say maybe 1 out of 200 people follow weather's happening in the Boston area for their weather.
Okay. Do you have grander plans to want to expand to not just from Boston to the state, to the area, to the country, to the world?
Sure. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that because doing weather forecasts for more than one location, it's difficult to just provide. You know, I can't be in front of the portal receiving feverish visions from the weather lords all day long. That would be damaging for this body. Number one, because of how stressful it is. But number two, I just don't have the time to get feverish visions for every area. But I do special areas when there are special areas that need forecasts. For instance, Tropical Depression 9 right now down your little Caribbean situation over there.
Yeah.
Actually, the latest forecast for that is very hopeful. It looks like my feverish visions are showing it rising up northwards and then taking a sharp east turn away from the coast. So it might not affect anybody badly, except the Caribbean a little bit as a tropical storm blow.
So when you contact the weather realm, is it receive only? Because can you just ask them like, hey, this situation is worse than I thought. Do you report back and then maybe ask for help?
Well, the feverish visions are from your weather lords, not from the weather realm. The weather realm simply acts as a conduit to receive the feverish visions from your weather lords. Now, your weather lords are not sentient beings, though. They're the special, I don't know, the variables within your atmosphere. They're the special patterns of your atmosphere. They're everything, all, you know, they're everything brought together into creating the weather that you experience on your planet.
I got you. Okay. So the weather lords are our weather specifically on this planet. If you would go to another planet, there's essentially different weather lords that are functioning and working there. So you actually...
Precisely. They're your weather lords, not mine.
So interesting. And I mean, if it is, I mean, the weather is energy, right? So if you are a similar kind of weather realm energy being, do you see, like, what does that look like to you? Does it, does the weather realm, can it, I mean, it gives you visions, but if you're in the weather realm, can you like use it? Best I have is like a telescope and say, hey, there's something going on there. Or do they actually reach out to the weather realm and say, hey, we need some help?
So the weather realm, it does, the weather realm is its own distinct, isolated area.
Right.
You can't really be in the weather realm and experience weather from other areas. The weather realm is
Okay.
just an area of weather, pure weather. You got, I don't know, every type of weather you could imagine is happening
All
in
at
the weather
once.
realm.
Okay.
So it doesn't really work like that. It's not so much the weather realm that provides the visions. It's more it's the portal itself.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for going over this with me. This is, again, as I said at the beginning of this,
It's a little confusing for sure.
it's very unique for me as a being that, you know, while we are energy, we only experience this in a corporal form. So I appreciate you taking the time for a lesser being to explain this, because I think it's very fascinating and
No.
interesting.
Don't call yourself a lesser being. Come on. You don't gotta say it like that.
That's interesting. I love that though, because you're a different being from another realm, but even you have kind of, I would assume life is kind of all equal.
Absolutely. Life is pretty equal as far as I can tell.
Okay. What about between genders, skin color, race? All that's equal, right? You
All
don't
that is
see that.
equal, of course, of course.
Yeah.
No, I see it because, for instance, your empire has many different oppressive factors of affecting people in different ways.
Right.
So
Yeah.
of course I can see gender.
You see the oppression.
I can see right exactly.
Right. Okay. But your focus is to help us repent our weather lords. So you're interesting. Okay. So your daily weather announcements, those were at least to kind of reach out to us at a basic human level on a day-to-day basis to give us this information. And then your, oh yeah, by the way, you guys need to fix this.
Yeah, I mean obviously, right? I kind of sometimes I feel like I don't even need to be telling people anymore because it's pretty apparent to everyone at this point that something needs to be done. You need to stop your powers and your oligarchs from destructing you and your planet. That's it. And I think everybody knows it at this point, unless I don't know, unless you're too consumed into being a part of the destruction from your powers and oligarchs. But yeah, I'm on your social media. I barely need like I don't even have my own takes anymore. I just want to boost other people's takes because who even needs to hear my take when you have people on your planet making the exact same take over and over and over again? That you need to stop your powers and oligarchs from destructing you and your planet. There's not really any choice left, and everybody knows it.
Well, and I think that's interesting because the way you're talking about it, it is not just the weather. You see that the outcomes of the weather are driven by current socio-political status and consolidation of power to drive things the way that only benefit those people.
Sure. Basically, the situation is this: you're in your weather lords are drunken carbon, and you're in your death spiral. Now, your death spiral is not just climate change, like I was saying before, but
Right.
climate change is of course the main show of it. But within your death spiral, you also have rising death spiralism, rising death spiral fascism, where where as you're nearing your as you're getting into more apocalyptic death spiral conditions, the death spiralists out there are becoming more and more persistent and more into controlling people into not doing anything about their death spiral.
So do you think it's people don't believe that it's true, or is it defeatism where I can't change it, so why even bother trying?
There's some defeatism, but the thing is, on your planet, you're not so far down in your death spiral that you can't escape it right now. There is a certain level of your death spiral that you're stuck in for a very long time, for generations upon generations upon generations. You've messed up your climate pretty badly. However, it can always get worse. Right now, you're on maybe let's say like the 5th rung of hell. You don't want to get down to level 50 because you could get down to level 50 level of hell. You don't want to get down there. You could lop things off over at this 5th level of hell situation.
Okay. I have, and I guess you probably don't even know this again, since you're only a small piece of the weather realm. But you've gone to other planets and other systems and other dimensions and other places through time. So what has worked for others? How do we come back from this? Or, well, you said you haven't gone to the future. You can't go to the future, but you can exist in the past.
That's
so
why confusing for sure.
Yeah. Well, again, my time is linear, yours is not. So even understanding the difference between linear and free flowing time is going to break my brain. But what is the path we should be taking? Can you just give us technology, just fix it?
No, I don't have that ability. I don't have the ability to give you technology. If I did, I would consider it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But really, you got to think of anything that has worked in the past. If even your recent past, if anything has stopped or slowed down powers and oligarchs, you should explore that, number one. But I can't tell you what to do on your planet. It's really up to you. You have to figure it out. But you've got to figure it out is the message that I have.
Yes.
You can't not figure it out. You have to figure it out. And I know that you could figure it out. I know that you could.
I agree as well. I really do. It again, like you said, it comes down to, it's interesting. I was just having this conversation this morning on PyFed. Well, not conversation, but posting on PyFed. I don't know if you know Mr. Cory Doctorow.
That name sounds familiar, but I don't know. I don't remember.
I would highly recommend checking him out. He is insanely brilliant, incredibly well spoken. And he does a lot of articles on technology and things like that, and books. What was his book? How to Seize the Means of Computation and How to Destroy Surveillance Capitalism are two of them. And a lot of what he writes about is though that there's nothing directly that you can do, but we need to put pressure on our governments to put pressure and change the route that we're going, essentially. So I understand the feeling of defeatism, but the weather realm picked 2012 and it has gotten worse. But do you think that you're placed here at an inflection point?
Absolutely. I've risen up within your planet from 2012 to this moment right now, and I think people are more receptive than ever to the message of repentance to you, for sure.
Right.
But again, I think I like to think that what I've done is I've planted the seeds of repentance to other lords in the past, and now your own planet is sort of figuring it out on their own, as opposed to me being the one to deliver the message.
Right.
So as time goes on, that message is being put out more and more. Maybe people aren't literally saying repent to other lords, but they have an equivalent for your planet for sure.
Well, and it's interesting because if you would have picked, say, 100 years ago, like 1912 to 1925, you wouldn't be able to get the message out that you're getting now. But also, society as a whole wouldn't have been ready for that kind of message. Let alone wouldn't have been ready for something like you, I imagine. Have you tried going in the past and saying, "Hey, this is where you're going to head"? If you don't do it, I imagine it probably ends up with you locked up somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think. Number one, I don't have the ability to really go to your past. Number two, so I'm eating a piece of dried mango.
It's delicious, isn't it? Dried mango is, and not the dried mango covered in just sugar and all that, but like just dried mango is so good. I love dried mango.
It's pretty incredible. Your planet has many delicacies that I haven't experienced from it on any other planet. Enough to change the subject for a second. One moment to shout out ice cream. Now, I don't know. I've never had anything like ice cream anywhere else. It is something else. Pizza, beer, blunts full of marijuana. if I can say that in your situation. I love all of it. Now, I can't have any beer or marijuana for at least 6 months because I have this aneurysm situation within this corporeal form. It's been a whole situation.
Yeah.
At first, they told me it was a brain aneurysm, that I was going to have brain surgery. But then I met with the brain surgeon, and the brain surgeon said, no. It's in your neck, not your brain. What a relief that was, for sure.
Oh my God.
That was a whole situation.
I hope you get better. I don't know what happens if the corporeal form dies. I mean, the worst that would happen for us would be that we don't have the message to get out. And I hope it would just be, you go back to the weather realm, but we definitely don't want to see anything happen. Please take care of yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm taking care of this corporeal form. No problem, for sure. Yeah, I don't know how this neck aneurysm thing started, but it's a little bit of nasty business. But the brain surgeon seems he's not too worried about it. He's saying take some baby aspirin for 6 months. We'll see. We'll take another scan in 6 months. It'll probably heal on its own. So I probably don't need surgery. So that's a whole thing.
Okay.
Sure. And that's another reason I'm glad that I was bubbled up into your planet at this stage of your existence.
Right. You have the medical expertise to help you. Yeah.
Exactly. And I still have health insurance, my union situation I was describing earlier.
Oh, good. Just don't take Tylenol.
Yeah. Actually, no, I love Tylenol. I take it every day. That's not true either.
I've always been an ibuprofen person, so maybe that's why I'm messed up in different ways.
They told me with the aspirin to take Tylenol instead of ibuprofen, so that's what I've been doing. I get some headaches from this aneurysm situation sometimes that I gotta take something for.
Yeah, definitely take care of yourself. Holy cow. Okay, so wow, this is amazing. All of this is amazing. I love this. Why the Fediverse though? We're tiny. The best way to get your message out, like you said, is, you joined Facebook to try and get the message out. And I totally understand that. So I like to say Andy Piper, I think marketing outreach of Mastodon, kind of talked me into putting my stuff out on YouTube and X and Blue Sky and things like that. So why Mastodon though?
Well, I'm not solely on Mastodon.
Right.
I love Mastodon, but I'm not solely on it. But I chose it because as soon as Muskie Baby bought Twitter, I had to get off of Twitter. I only deleted my Twitter account after the recent election that you had in your empire.
Okay.
But I had to get off of Twitter immediately after Musk bought it because Musk is just, what a piece of work that piece of shit is, right? Can I say? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, no, you're allowed to say whatever you want here. If it gets pulled, as I said, I put it up on YouTube, but I have my own peer tube. So if it gets pulled from YouTube, I don't really care. I have my peer tube. But, yeah, your whole message. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love the Fediverse. It's great. I got a number of followers here, a number of acolytes. I just have a great time fooling around with Fediverse. I like Blue Sky too. I was very hesitant about Blue Sky because of its connection with that Twitter guy. What's his name? The guy
Jack Dorsey.
Yeah. But apparently he left in a hurry. He just doesn't like it at all.
Yeah.
But Blue Sky has some serious issues as well. Instagram has serious issues. YouTube obviously has serious issues. But I got to be with the people as much as possible without it being disgusting.
But your message is, again, not only just about weather, but also about other types of oppressive control, which we can. It's been going around that the world's richest man owns Twitter. Another one of the richest men owns Facebook, Meta, and all that flows down from there. Now, what's his name? Ellis with Oracle now owns TikTok. Bezos owns numerous newspapers and TV outlets and whatnot. So we are literally seeing powerful men buying up the means of communication in order to control the narrative. So I completely understand you leaving X.
And I left Facebook at the same time I left X as well.
Do you think that these men are also from other realms?
It almost seems like it sometimes, but I don't think so.
No.
They're just corrupted by your power and your money, really. Your whole death spiralist economy here really allows for people like that to grow up and become horrible people. In fact,
interesting. That's sad. I was kind of hoping that you would say no, they're definitely from another realm, because that would at least give me some more hope in the good side of these people, and not that they think that they're evil. I mean, they're very greedy, and they probably assume that everyone else is just more lazy than them, or that they're actually as brilliant as they think they are. But you always hope that it is something other than that, I guess. I don't know. It says something about humanity.
They're just human beings.
Oh, that hurts. Even Zuckerberg?
Yeah, unfortunately. Bezos to me is the least human seeming of them all, but again, he's a human being as well. Unfortunately.
Man. Well, again, my belief is, I think it was Carl Sagan who said, I don't remember who it was. I'll have to look it up because I always talk about this, that we're only here for the universe to experience itself. And once we're done, we're energy. We go back to the universe. And I always love that. So maybe that energy is just trying something new this go round.
Could be.
Interesting. Trying to think. Do you have any questions about being human or anything?
So you were on the Fediverse before.
Oh yeah.
Before Twitter became X, before Muskie Baby took over Twitter. What's the difference between old Fediverse and current Fediverse? I'm sure that there's got to be some sort of difference. I'm curious about that.
I feel like the general idea has basically been the same the entire time. There's been a lot of pushback with Mastodon, having Mastodon social being the largest instance. You'll have all those kind of conversations. I've seen that with Linux before, where it's like, oh, Ubuntu needs to help other projects so that they can grow. And it's like, people want a specific thing to go to. Most people don't care about learning it. Talked with a lot of amazing folks that are just very excited about being able to build out new and interesting technologies on their own. Between then and now, I mean, the biggest thing I see is just that, we saw a huge boom, and then people are like, oh, it's not ready. And then everyone calls it like a bust kind of a thing. But we've definitely grown immensely since then. And when I say we, it's not just Mastodon, it's PeerTube, it's Lemmy has been a big one where and I was on Lemmy.ml like when it was in its infancy, and they have their own beliefs on how things should work. And as an American, a Westerner, they were not really open to my points of view, which that's fair. Yeah. But then other people have kind of taken it on themselves as like, okay, well, I kind of want to build my own anyway. And we see things like PyFed coming up, but again, the same ethos seems to have always applied to me, in that people, they know that discoverability doesn't exist. You have to interact, but I've heard time and time again from people that, while there are less people on the Fediverse, the interactions that people get are vastly deeper. You are talking to a person. You are talking at a person. You are not algorithmically boosted and just everyone is just like, yeah, I agree. It is much more interactive. And especially now with more people. And with things, if you haven't been to FediForum or FediCon, I highly recommend them. FediForum especially is coming up in 7? No.
Oh, these are IRL. Oh, FediCon, I see.
Fedi Forum is not. Fedi Forum is an unconference that is online,
Oh, I see.
and talking with all these amazing, brilliant people about all the different things that they're working on, it gives me a lot of hope. Like, obviously with the Exodus, there was a huge boom, as I said, and all of us were massively excited until we realized that all of these servers are paid by regular guys that, like, we're not ready for this. And I feel like it's grown not only population wise, but in maturity. A lot of folks have spun up companies in order to help support this in different ways. A lot of people are like, okay, we need money. How do we handle this? And I've talked to numerous guys that are trying to do that. And without Elon Musk buying that, without Elon Musk buying X, I think we would still end up there. But I think that this has kind of sped up that process.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm super hopeful. Like, is it your preferred platform? Do you like Blue Sky over that? Do you like other things?
I'd say I have an equal love for Blue Sky and Mastodon, or sorry, Fediverse. There's a quality that Blue Sky has to it. There's a quality that the Fediverse has to it, and
Sure.
I like both. Kind of different audiences a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't mean that as any sort of dig towards the Fediverse or anything.
No.
I love the Fediverse, but Blue Sky has treated me very well, which is
okay. Yeah, good. Yeah, no, I think that's positive anywhere. Even if I know some folks that still have not moved off X. Again, that is their right, that is their choice, and they're like, but my community is there. I don't have any problems with any of the other stuff. Okay, to each their own. You make your own decisions.
I feel like at this point, though, at some point you got to make the decision to not be on X.
Right.
I mean, people can make their own decisions, but it's kind of a little nasty over there. I don't know, like.
Well, and some of the one, even if you haven't experienced it personally, the fact that you're there, not you specifically, right, but the fact that people are still there, it's like, well, it hasn't affected me. It's like, that's not.
I'd be fearful that it's affecting people that are still there in ways that they don't understand.
Maybe, yeah.
With X becoming such a, I don't know, right-wing propaganda site,
yeah,
far-right propaganda site, to be exposed to all of that far-right propaganda, even if you're on the left, I feel like it still has the ability to draw you, inch you more and more to the right. That's my fear of being an X. And that's why I'm happy to be on both Mastodon and Blue Sky. Mastodon is great because I can just block entire servers of Death Spiral fascists all at once, and that's always.
Well, I think it's one of those things where people, if you have an entire community there that follows you, so like one of the folks I'm thinking of, he's a Twitch streamer. And so he is the head of that community, right? So where he goes, they will go, they will follow. And my whole thought is, with something like the Fediverse, you can literally spin up an entire Mastodon for your entire community, right? And you can have them all right there, and you don't have to be worried about, am I going to get banned today for saying, well, you know what? I do like Tylenol. Like, it's all right.
I would encourage everybody to be taking Tylenol. That's just me,
though. Local developer in the chat asked, inquiry, frozen yogurt, yay or nay?
Oh, I'm instead of saying yay, I'm going to say hell yes.
Yeah.
Frozen yogurt. Frozen yogurt is incredible. Even just non-frozen yogurt is also incredible.
Yeah, it is. Do you put, so I know that there have been frozen yogurt places that pop up, and then they charge you by the weight, but you can put all kinds of toppings and stuff on it. What toppings would you have on your frozen yogurt, or are you just a plain frozen yogurt?
Well, here's the thing. With ice cream, I put tons of toppings on it. I like my ice cream sundaes with yogurt. I like to have just an entire yogurt experience that's just plain yogurt, or not plain yogurt. Flavored yogurt, vanilla yogurt, or any sort of flavor of yogurt. But I kind of tend towards the whole peanut buttery, chocolatey flavor combination situation. Quite often, there's a little There's a little ice cream shop in Boston called Scoop and Scootery that just has these amazing sundaes that are incredible. Peanut butter mudslide from Scoop and Scootery in Boston. Check it out. You won't be disappointed.
All right. I mean, I'm not in Boston, but
If
who
anybody
doesn't?
else is, Scoop
Yeah.
and Scootery, peanut butter mudslide. You will not be disappointed by that. I guarantee it.
Oh, you gotta love, and peanut butter and chocolate is just one of those things where the one that I always have a problem with peanut butter and chocolate is when it's like, you know, you go to a restaurant, it's like, oh, we have peanut butter chocolate pie, and I always say yes, and I'm always like, they just went so heavy on the sweetness, it just takes away from it.
Yeah, sometimes they add too much sugar into things, and it's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, geez, this is a little bit too much. But when there's not too much sugar added and just there's a normal amount of sugar involved, that's the good spot right there. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you have to have balance, right? Dingus McDongle, Dingus McDongle, which I always love his name. Soft serve or hard scoop?
Again, making me choose between all these things. Soft serve has its place. I love soft serve. I love hard scoop as well.
Yeah.
Just give me whatever the option is, I'll take it.
Is that
I guess if I had the choice between the two, when I literally had to make the choice, I'd go for the hard scoop because I feel like it's a little more interesting, a little more textured. But I don't want to denigrate soft serve at all.
So we were talking before the show that you're actually going to be doing a lecture.
Oh, that's true. At Boston Tech Poetics at Summer Nova in Somerville, Massachusetts on Tuesday betwixt 6 and 8 p.m.
Okay. And what do you talk about at these kind of in-person lectures? Is it more on the weather side? Is it more on the fascism and political issues? Is it general death spiraliness?
So I was going to talk a little bit about what I talked today, some of the origin stories of what's happening, because I like to get those stories out, because those stories haven't come out very much. That's why I talk a lot about it today, is because I'm almost practicing for my lecture on Tuesday. But of course, I'll be getting into your death spiral, potential ways of getting out of your death spiral, and the true meaning of repentance, to other words.
Okay. Sorry, I'm clicking through your links on these. Sorry, I'm distracted. You're in a death spiral. Weatherman is an artist. He is a meteorologist. Most importantly, for the last decade, he's been Boston's only salvation in repentance to our weather lords. The Weatherman has the answers. You must bring the questions. I love that. That's so good.
We'll see. We'll see what answers I even have.
I mean, we've asked you some interesting questions. I'll bet you weren't expecting, at least. At least I hope.
That's true.
So at least throw some curveballs at you.
Good job asking questions, by the way.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Because asking questions, our next step would be the quiz.
I think I'm just ready for the quiz.
All right. Well, now for the real reason I asked Weatherman here is to give him the opportunity to win a prize of a lifetime. Our prize today is the solution to global warming. Thought about more global warming, but I've learned from you, Mr. Weatherman, that actually more global warming is probably a bad thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so I'm glad I got that one right. Are you ready for the quiz?
Sure.
All right. Favorite movie and why is it Spaceballs?
Oh, I have not seen Spaceballs, but I can talk about my favorite movie. It is Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country. That's Star Trek 6.
Which one? Yeah, that's when they go to the penal colony, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Do you like that one?
I really like that one.
If I had to say which Star Trek movie was my favorite, it'd have to be Return Home. What is it called?
Voyage Home.
Voyage Home. That's what it is.
That's a great one as well.
I mean, you know, it has time travel. It has whales. It has transparent aluminum. Yeah. What more could you want?
It's true. That's definitely true.
All right. Next question. Red, black, or green?
Oh, jeez. You're making me have to choose between all sorts of amazing things. I love the color red. I love the color black. I love combining black and red. I feel like that's an interesting color combination they use a lot.
That is,
and
yes.
then green is sort of not like either of those colors. It's very naturey in your.
It's very nature. Yep, that's exactly what I
might have to say green. Yeah,
green?
I'm just gonna say green.
Okay.
If I had to choose.
Okay. That sounds good. All right. Next question is lobster, clam, or oyster?
Oh, I've never had any of those.
What about like
to eat or just in general?
However you want to interpret it. I thought of to eat because you're in Boston, right? So there's a lot of seafood there, but you haven't had any of those. So what about for like a pet, or which do you think is prettiest?
I would say lobster for sure.
A lobster? Okay, so why lobster?
It just, I don't know. It's very lobstery. It's like this little creature that walks around under the water.
So do clams? Well, no, I guess clams don't. I'm thinking of crabs.
Crabs, I guess crabs do as well, but like a
crabs
lobster,
do as well,
sort of like a longer crab.
Yeah, it is. And they can flick their tails and fly backwards, and they have the long pinchies. Who doesn't love that?
Yeah, that's pretty good. For the record, I do like fish and chips.
Okay.
That's a Boston thing. And I do like clam chowder as well, actually. I have had clams. Wait, say clams or oysters?
Lobster, clams, or oysters? So
so I have had clams and clam chowder before.
Is it good?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, if you ever go to Boston, get some clam chowder.
And I think that's the difference. So when I was growing up, and even as an adult, I don't like seafood. But when I was growing up as a kid, I was from Northeast Ohio. So we went to Maine this year for our family vacation, and like they literally pull it right out of the ocean and you know, make it free. Oh my God. Fresh seafood makes the whole difference. It's fantastic.
Pretty big difference for sure.
Yeah. No, it doesn't even compare. So if you don't like seafood, try it fresh seafood from Boston or Maine or anything. Even I guess North Carolina, where I'm at, has a really good fishing industry, but you need to be closer to the coast to really have it matter. I'm about 3 hours away. So. All right. Next question is, what does an alternate universe weatherman do?
An alternate universe, like a mirror universe, or just any sort of alternate universe?
Yeah, any if every decision that we make spawns off into a new universe, there's essentially infinite universes. Even though you're only 13, you know, which way could an alternate universe weatherman have gone?
You mean if maybe I wasn't on your planet to tell you about repentance to other lords, and I was just on your planet to enjoy myself?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, geez. I don't know. Maybe like an ethical archaeologist would be cool.
An ethical archaeologist? Oh, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, well, I say ethical because I'm not sure about the ethics of going to other countries and other cultures and taking their objects and bringing them back.
Yeah.
So there'd have to be some sort of ethical layer to it. But I like the idea of going around dusting off little bones, etc. Or maybe a paleontologist, actually. A bone archaeologist.
A bone archaeologist. Yeah, I like a paleontologist. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like, it always seems like such hard work, but it seems like it could be so relaxing and rewarding.
Could be a lot of fun, I think.
That's a good answer. All right. So I reached out to an alternate universe. I actually have an alternate universe phone here. This week it took the shape of a pumpkin spice cinnamon roll. It changes shape.
That sounds so good.
I can't wait to eat it. I haven't touched it yet. Oh, but I can't eat it because it's my phone. It'll change into something else after the show, I'm sure.
Oh, I see.
So instead of having a human's body or creating a human's body, the alternate universe weatherman actually, when he got here as energy, he actually just picked up a whole bunch of random like yard work stuff. So grass clippings and weeds and stuff like that. And when he approached the humankind of that universe, they were afraid of him because they weren't used to seeing something like that. And it didn't help that a raccoon actually jumped out of his pants and started attacking people. So he's still trying. So best of luck to the alternate universe weatherman.
Best of luck, alternate universe weatherman.
Yeah, and if you see him again, like when you go back up to the weather realm, maybe give him some tips next time for approaching humanity. Of course, in that universe, maybe that is normal. I don't know.
I
I
don't
guess we'll
know.
never know. Yeah. Yeah. Next question: climatology, aeronomy, or meteorology?
I'm a big fan of meteorology, but climatology and meteorology are very similar. They're not the same, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd like to hold one in one hand and the other in the other hand. That's what I'd like to do.
Okay. So you're not really. So do you know what aeronomy is?
I don't know what that is.
I think I'm pronouncing it correct. I might be pronouncing it wrong. The scientific study of the upper atmosphere of the Earth and the
Oh, I
corresponding
see.
regions of the atmospheres of other planets.
Yeah, see, I don't know everything at all. That's one thing that I should impress upon people. I don't know what aeronology,
Aeronomy?
aeronomy. Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah.
what that was until you just said it.
Yeah.
That's
I
very
did.
interesting.
I didn't know what that was until I looked it up for this show. So I literally just looked up scientific names for weather. But that's part of why we're here, right? And that's why you've come here to help educate us and learn and continue to grow.
That's exactly it right there.
All right. So I have to ask, this next question might not work. Usually the last question is sent telepathically and
Okay.
then you give me your answer. Is that something you're able to open? It's not going to fry my brain first off, right? Can
No,
you?
no, 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 no.
Okay. So you can open your telepathy and I can send you the question.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right. Here it comes. Okay. So there's a question. Take your time and let me know what your answer is.
I know what the answer is right now.
Oh.
Yes, I do have to use the bathroom.
Okay. Well, I would ask you why that's the answer, but I think that's pretty obvious. Well, congratulations. You got every question either correct or incorrect. Good job.
Wonderful.
Unfortunately, a community member of mine, Dingus, pointed out that the solution to global warming is actually removing all humans immediately. At least the one that I was thinking of. So I'll make sure to punish Brooks appropriately for suggesting that humans spew billions of tons of CEO, a known warming molecule, into the atmosphere, how that could possibly be responsible for global warming. This episode brought to you by all the largest oil providers ever. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I have all of that backwards. We do actually do this, don't we?
So, but I don't think you got to get rid of all you people. I think you could figure out how to have people and have a planet. That's a truth that I think is,
You sure?
You can figure out a way. You could figure out a way to have people and a planet.
All right. Well, we'll try and do that then. And thank you, Mr. Weatherman. I hope you continue to spread the good word. And being as unique as you are in our current state of mindless clicking, you kind of make people stop and take a second and reflect. So thank you.
Yeah, NP, my buddy, NP.
All right, that's all we have for today. Thank you all so much for coming and joining us on this episode of Fireside Fedi. Again, the reason that the Fediverse is interesting and works is because you're here. Without the Fediverse, I probably never would have found Mr. Weatherman, and I wouldn't have found being able to talk to you folks. So if anyone ever has any recommendations or wants to volunteer for the show, I'm more than happy to talk to anyone or anything, really. So thank you guys, and have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Peace.